Arsenal, Jim, failing to get anywhere near Newcastle United's 4 at home against PSG.
Unbelievable.
They didn't even have Mbappe to
Pathetic.
contend with.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Little fucking North London.
Oh, were they too young? You didn't want to take advantage of them?
Little Holiday Road Polytechnic cannon fuckers.
Yeah,
Dan Burn was scoring against PSG last year.
Yeah.
And he's been brought on against bloody Wimbledon with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, they only had one giant. You've got
Yeah.
7.
yeah, we're the losers here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Wimbledon live in a hole now. And we're having to play them.
We should have seen that coming. Did Wombles
Well, they
live
are
in
the
holes?
Wombles. Yeah, they are the Wombles, I suppose. They probably
yeah.
enjoy that sort of thing, yeah. But 2 first half goals were enough for Arsenal to beat PSG. PSG looked ever so flat, but
They did.
But like, is that why Arsenal are so good at the moment with their game management and their kind of like really good centre backs?
I think there was an element of PSG being quite effectively held off, actually, yeah. But because I wasn't massively convinced by PSG, there was a sense that
They played some nice stuff, didn't they?
They did, and obviously they play very, very quickly as well. So I was a little bit
young.
nervous at times.
It's their young generation. It's the post-star generational shift.
They want everything now, don't they? But they don't want to work for it.
They're spilling avocado toast all over the place.
They are. But yeah, I mean, they're flying in League 1, which is so often the case anyway. So maybe it's hard to judge, but it didn't seem like a sort of particularly strong PSG side.
Well, you get the feeling that they're kind of like their kind of base level is flying in Ligue 1.
Sure.
And then
Falling
in midweek
short.
having to sort of work a bit harder. And
Very
that
much
step up
so.
is strange, isn't it?
Are they too woke?
Are they
Is
too
this
woke?
generation of
For the Champions
PSG
League,
too
yeah.
woke?
Woke, yeah. Oh, you don't want Mbappe anymore, do you? Because he wanted to leave. Woke.
You want to get
Everything
paid.
bad is woke.
Yeah. Or you want to build from the back, do you?
But I mean, they did play some nice stuff, and it is a very different PSG side that I think even Newcastle experienced this time.
Yeah.
This time last year, been between a couple of days, one way or the other. But yeah, it was a really interesting kind of grown-up performance from Arsenal. I think.
It was, yeah, and Kai Havertz's goal was taken very, very well. He was fantastic in general and has really sort of grown into his role and looks really, really at home now. And one of the interesting things about Havertz is that I thought this when he first signed, which is that he kind of does everything at one pace, and that's still the case. But it's just way more effective now. I think everyone knows where he's going to be. He knows where everyone else is going to be, and therefore he can play his natural game in it, and it's a lot more effective. The second goal was obviously a little bit fortunate, and also a little bit of a kind of brain fart from Donnarumma, if you want to sort of be perhaps a little bit unkind to him. But obviously you take that, and it comes from the quality of the delivery as well.
It was like fussball, wasn't it? Everyone swung their legs up at the same time.
Yes.
And it ended up in the net.
I'm choosing to believe...
Like most fussball matches.
Yeah, I'm choosing to believe they were 2 very clever dummies and they've been practicing that all week. But that may be a little generous.
Yeah, especially the way that Partey, as he was wheeling away, had a moment of, I could claim that.
Yeah.
They've got cameras. They have cameras here.
I'll be found out. So I expected more from PSG in the second half, and we kind of got that. Now, Timber went off because he was feeling something in a muscle. I don't think it's anything serious, but they want to be cautious with him. He's feeling so much love. He had to go and have a calm down.
Mikel, I've got an erection. I've got to go.
There's cameras.
Get me some bromide.
Yeah. So Calafiori had to go over to right back, and I wonder if that maybe made Arsenal a little bit adventurous. There were a couple of times where it seemed like they could have broken and chose to actually be a little bit conservative. So I think there was a little bit of the kind of Mourinho style that we've been talking about recently employed in that second half. But I expected PSG to sort of come on a bit stronger, and they did. But at the same time, they didn't really create much. So I think
barely any shots on target.
Yeah. But I think part of succeeding in the Champions League in the past has always been being really sort of strong, isn't it? And limiting your opponent in having essentially moments that they're going to hurt you in. So I think part of it was kind of attempting that. Clarence Seedorf said after the game that he thought that was actually a weakness and something that's perhaps to be addressed. And obviously, he's quite smart, isn't he? And quite experienced, Clarence Seedorf. So I wonder if there's something to that as well. And if you invite, say, Real Madrid on, it ends very differently.
Yeah.
But you would play differently, wouldn't you? I suppose
you
it's
would
just
think so.
Horses for courses to a point.
Indeed, but I wonder if you look at a team like that and think, the horse for this course is a very conservative one. But yeah, I mean,
he's wearing Crocs.
Very much so, yeah. It was a really good win. The PSG fans were incredibly loud with their drums, and they rotate the singing, which is interesting.
Right, okay. How do they organise that?
They split it in half. So someone sort of cheerleads for half of it, and it's really loud. They get a little break. The other half
Start up,
does it. Gradually, all the tops come off, and at times they all join in together, and it's really loud. It's the sort of thing English fans just wouldn't do. We're not organised enough.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the Arsenal debut of Mike Sheep? Mikel Merino. Marino's a brand. Yeah, Marino's a brand new sheep, isn't it?
Merino, what?
Yeah,
is that where the wool comes from?
Yeah.
It's named after the sheep.
You'd have to ask his parents, but no, you wouldn't. You have to ask his parents.
Yeah.
And they'd know where it came from.
The Merino is a breed or group of breeds of domestic sheep characterised by their very fine, soft wool.
Michael Sheep.
It was established in Spain near the end of the Middle Ages.
Mike Sheep.
Sheep.
It's like Antonio Di Natale is something like Anthony the Christmas.
Anthony the Christmas, yeah. I mean, did he kind of equip himself in this match? Did he have time to?
He didn't really have time to be honest. He won a couple of duels, and that's what he's there for. He's dueling Andrews, we know that. But we played the game
like two
with
knitting
very little
needles.
possession, actually.
Like two knitting needles going at each other.
Absolutely. So it's kind of very difficult to get an idea of what kind of player he's going to be, or even what position he's kind of mostly going to play in. But he was very solid, if unspectacular. Didn't really have the chance to be spectacular. I'm surprised he's back as soon as he was. Arteta tends to keep his cards quite close to his chest when it comes to injuries and availability and things like that. So who knows? You never know when people are going to return. They just sort of pop up in the training pictures unexpectedly. But it's very, very welcome to have him available.
The Undertaker.
Yeah. Hello. Hi. I'm back.
I mean, the main highlight for me was not even watching anything on the pitch in this match. It was watching the live league table on Google.
Yes.
On Google, the Arsenal sneaking into the beautiful green qualifying positions with that win. I believe they might have fallen out. I didn't look like when all of the matches had finished. They might have fallen out of those qualifying positions. But
sure, they will do tonight.
But it's an interesting like setup. We knew it was going to be very, very strange. I think Rone called it a squash ladder league table, which I think is quite nice. I'm unfamiliar with what squash is. I know what it is, but I don't know what
it's a drink, isn't it?
It's a drink. It's a delicious drink, and I've got many opinions about what position the Robinsons and the Vimtos of this world kind of fit into that league table.
Is energy squash a thing? You're a man who loves an energy drink.
What caffeine inside?
You make Gatorade in the US is sold as a powder.
Yes,
right.
So you do dilute it and stuff like that. Olympia, being a Yank, always brings stuff over, which I tell you cannot keep transporting powder across country borders. So you just dilute it. So I suppose it's kind of similar.
Yeah. Pocari Sweat, I'm a big fan of the isotonic powder that you mix with water. Pocari Sweat. You've seen it. You've drank it in Japan, surely. It's like an isotonic, kind of slightly salty drink that when you're really sweaty, it helps you kind of restore the fluids and stuff.
Oh, okay, right.
So if they added caffeine into that mix, I'd be definitely up for it. And I'm a man who's on his fourth energy drink of the day.
That's why I asked, because I know that. I can see your blood fizzing through your skin.
Absolutely done. But I mean, how are you finding the Champions League thus far? Is it weird? It feels like every match means a little bit more to a certain extent, but we just know there's going to be more fixture congestion as you go deeper in the tournament.
I'm enjoying it so far. There is a strange feeling.
Because you're winning.
Because
winning football matches.
Doing all right. But the actual format I'm enjoying as well. There's a weird thing where I keep forgetting that we now don't have to play PSG at their place or Atalanta at ours.
Yeah.
And this is so lame. But I missed the little community you had with the teams in your group. Like, this is our little
these
section.
Guys are back.
This is our little bit of Champions League. But that's gone obviously, and it is really interesting. We're also going to have a strange thing towards the end of the tournament where you've got the teams battling to get into the playoff positions.
Yes.
So there's going to be a battle for mid-table, which is going to be
thrilling, absolutely thrilling. But it is kind of like when the next fixture comes. I don't even know who you're playing next, but it is kind of
I think
Shakhtar, right? It is just a little bit like, oh, what now? Where now do we go? For crying out loud!
I mean, is there an argument that the whole thing should be blind? Like you don't know till it's not announced to the public until the day before.
No, blindfold, private jets. Wherever you land, and you're trying to figure it out from, right, what is 3 miles away from Stansted?
The away team all come out in morph suits, and they rip them off to reveal the kits.
And the referee...
Oh no, it's Real Madrid!
And the referee is a French guy from First Dates.
Yes! Welcoming you onto the pitch.
You could actually do, that's Real Madrid's music! Because they do have that sort of fascist anthem they like to play, don't they?
Like a lovely Royal Rumble. Well, one man who will not be tearing off any kind of morph suits to reveal a PSG top is Ousmane Dembele. Dembele. He missed the game because he's reportedly fallen out with Luis Enrique. Enrique said, I'm not going to create a soap opera out of this. There are no problems between us, but if someone doesn't comply or respect the expectations of the team, it means they're not prepared to play. He said there's nothing else to add to this topic. It seems we have never lost when Dembele plays. No, we lost against Newcastle, Milan, home against Barcelona. Oh, how scary, eh? How scary. Phew! And he did, I'm editorialising here, a little dance at that point. He's gone, it was brilliant.
It sounds quite soap opera-y, doesn't it?
It does sound quite soap opera-y the way he sort of delivered that, I would say.
Yeah. I like Luis Enrique.
Yeah, I think it's probably quite an important point to make as well, because they've got such a young team.
Yeah.
And it's almost, I think
he's probably saying that to the players as well, isn't he? He's like, there's nothing to fear here.
Yeah, and I suppose Dembele, has misbehaved in this, particular incident, but also like making an example out of him is also not a bad thing, considering they've, impressionable players. They kind of want to get through this ego culture to a point and, build from the bottom up. And I suppose this is one way of facilitating that.
Yeah.
Because also, I don't really think, you asked about the competition before, like, the jeopardy isn't quite there. Like, I'm still broadly like open-minded about it, but I think yesterday was a good example of, in another situation, or in the previous iteration of the Champions League, you'd be like, oh god, yeah, PSG, I do worry for them, and you're like, oh no, they'll be all right.
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like home games become really important in this situation. You'd expect they're a team that would do well there. Although that said, I mean, they are a very young team. There's some impressive performances from some of the younger players yesterday. Bradley Barcola was lively. I thought Warren Zaire-Emery and João Neves looked tidy in midfield, if not, hugely effectual, because they generally weren't as a team. But you can see there's some real quality there with the kind of zip they play everything with.
Yeah,
I think when you look at such a big league table, you are kind of like, I got loads of games to go.
Yeah,
even though you're not going to play everybody. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, Lyon elsewhere. Lyon play Rangers in the Europa League on Thursday. Their team bus is currently en route to Glasgow, and it was on the same boat as the PSG Ultras, travelling to go and watch their team against Arsenal at the Emirates, and the captain of the boat had to come down to ask the fans to stop graffitiing the bus.
There was so much graffiti, and
it was
all pretty good as well.
Right,
enjoyably French.
Yeah, okay. Oh, it's the French way, isn't it? I mean, there's not a single train that isn't graffitied on the SNCF. I don't know why they bother painting them in the first place.
I like the idea that the way that story was framed was Leon, what are you doing? And it was like, putting a bus on a boat with a load of other adults and thinking it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like the issue isn't what Leon did here.
No. And also, I mean, if you start sort of really heavily painting, like spray painting in an enclosed space, it's the thing they say on the can. You've got to use it in an open space, otherwise you will get very heady.
Yeah. Maybe they don't mind that.
Maybe that's what they're into.
Maybe they were already heady when they decided to do that.
Exactly.
So is this over to you, Glasgow? That bus is going to be somewhere covered in graffiti.
Do your worst, Glasgow.
Ooh.
Bring it on. That's what I'm saying. Elsewhere, but also quite close, it was a bad night for Celtic. They lost 7-1 to Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund coach Nuri Şahin played under Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool and was quoted as saying, "Thank God I have left Brendan Rodgers when he left the club."
Yeah.
That's wild, isn't it?
He did sort of clarify in the sort of pre-match kind of guff around this that was a long time ago, and he enjoyed his time at Liverpool, etc., etc., etc. Damage limitation doesn't matter now, does it?
No,
doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
It was an absolute pasting.
It was a rout, and it was worse because I mean, obviously Celtic got a goal early, so you're like, oh, maybe. No. I mean, Brendan Rodgers did say, we think we can hurt them. We can hurt them once. I think we can certainly lay a glove on them. It's like, well, yeah, but like they laid a glove on you like 5 times before half time.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Adeyemi scored an absolutely brilliant hat trick. His second goal in particular, the power he gets from the angle he gets to get that in is outrageous. And their 7th goal was hit so enjoyably hard. There's a couple of sets of highlights that are worth like seeking out if you don't have time to watch every single match, because there are so many, which is this one, and also the Salzburg against Brest, which Vish, you kind of sold to me this morning.
Yeah, it's the most smash and grab 4-0 victory has ever been, I think. It was ludicrous. Yeah, Salzburg should have been 4-0 up before Brest scored. And even when Brest scored the 3rd goal, Salzburg were like, actually, even the 2nd goal, there was a sense of Salzburg and everyone in the ground being like, yeah, we're getting nothing from this game. Like we've angered some gods. We're going to find out who. Probably some Nordic ones. They're the most vengeful, and we're going to right our wrongs because it was comical. You have to watch the highlights. Yeah, but on this Celtic thing, like it is funny having like their sense of domination in the way they play and them being so ineffective in Europe.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
because even all the fallout yesterday after the game was about like Brendan Rodgers and Celtic. You know, together they always do this kind of thing, and I think the reaction has been a bit like.
We know we're getting here.
Yeah, but I think the dams had already broken on this particular subject, but yesterday was very much like. Look, there's clearly a failing of you, and certainly like maybe the mindset of Celtic in Europe. Something has to change because there was a lot of stuff flying around about how, you know, it was, you know, they were soft, they were naive, all those kind of buzzwords which you shouldn't really get from a manager who's experienced as him and
experienced in this tournament as well.
Yeah, and a team as vaunted as Celtic.
It's an interesting sort of snapshot of the quality of the Champions League and sort of the variety of that quality. Because obviously they beat Slovan Bratislava 5-1 in the first game. They then get absolutely battered by Dortmund, who are clearly a level above them. And I know Dortmund were finalists last season, but you probably wouldn't really even have them as one of the favourites this season. So you know, it's there is a huge scale of quality there.
Can I posit that Nuri Şahin is one of the most handsome managers in Europe?
Yeah, I would take that.
There's also a Turkish volleyball player called Nuri Şahin, who is also an utter smoke show. So I would very much like to line up all of the Nuri Şahins in the world and find out whether this is a Nuri Şahin issue, problem. Good thing, bad thing, to be really, really handsome.
What if they are all really handsome? It poses some strange questions.
Yeah, what's happening there? They've come out of a sexy lab, haven't they?
Also, weirdly, he looks like someone who's only going to get more handsome.
Yeah, as he gets older. It's sickening, isn't it?
Yeah, he's young anyway, isn't he? 36?
Yeah. Shame. Real shame. Anyway, Horn Dogs. Another out elsewhere. Slovan Bratislava 0. Man City 4. Gundogan was in there. Foden, Haaland, McAtee as well. McAtee on the score sheet.
Lovely
goal. Exciting, isn't it?
Beautiful goal. With Sheffield United all last season and scoring goals in the Champions League. Good for him.
That'll test you.
That is like, in 300, it was like, right, go to the Wolves in the Forest for a bit, and if you come back,
we'll have you
in the Champions League.
You in the team, yeah. Manchester City are now unbeaten in each of their last 25 UEFA Champions League games, winning 17 and trying it. The joint longest run without defeat in European Cup / UEFA Champions League history.
It's funny. What do you think about penalty shootout defeats not counting as defeats?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan. I think they should count.
I understand it.
Why?
Because
the penalty is part of the process.
Ultimately, the penalty shootout is the last resort. It's the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And so you kind of acknowledge that you can't split these two teams in an authentic football manner.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't mind it being used as this, but it did make me think. Hold on, did they get to the final last year? Did they win the final? What? So I can understand the grievance with it. Yeah,
it's still quite impressive though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. And Pep Guardiola's just pissing about now. He's got Savini on the left now. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
goodness. Yeah.
He's just. God knows what he's doing. It was also a little bit like they were trying to have a competition between themselves to see who could score from the furthest out.
Right.
At one point, Erling Haaland just got bored of it. It's like, screw this.
Yeah.
well, Phil Foden scored and got an assist, though he did waste a couple of chances early on. I thought, maybe they'll let him in. They will not let him in. And he recently recorded a fishing vlog with a famous, I believe, fisherman, Neil Spooner. And Foden said, "This is me." I'm imagining him like getting the fish out with a big spoon. Foden said, "This is me when I retire, a vlog for fishing."
He's quite an old soul, isn't he?
He is.
Which is quite enjoyable.
It's like you've got time to get into fishing. It goes football, golf, fishing.
He loves
it. At the end,
Apparently he was fishing on the lakes on the golf course in England's training camp.
Is that allowed? Does he have a permit?
I was just going to ask. Yeah.
It's like he needs to have his head on the game, to be honest. If he's playing a few rounds and then playing a few holes, and then he's just absolutely.
I don't think he was playing holes. That's the point. I think he was sat there fishing.
Oh, just completely co-opted out.
Bullying fish.
Looking like a little garden gnome on a little rock.
Well, I watched that vlog, and it was very entertaining and stuff. But obviously, the Spooner guy is the main kind of event. But the actual channel, the vlogging channel that he was on, Phil didn't get as many views as Neil Spooner got last month when he went to a place called Norton Disney to just fuck about with some carp. So shame, Phil. He's got somewhere to go as a vlogging presenter.
The fish are the stars.
The fish are the stars. I don't like it when the fish guys get their big. I presume it's a carp or something. It seems to be the bigger fish, doesn't it? When they pick it up and there's like a little sort of like their belly kind of like hangs between the hands. which suggests either carp pregnancy or, which I'm uncomfortable with, and I'm sorry I brought this to the table at this late juncture, but
Carp have to be allowed to be pregnant, Pete.
I just don't like the look of them.
So your issue
they look like they could burst at any moment.
Yeah, so your issue...
Phil Foden's cradling the stomach.
So your issue with it is not necessarily like the taking out of like the fish out of their habitat for our amusement. They look disgusting. Get them out of my sight.
It's just that flabby bit of belly that I just think Fish Ozempic could really do a number on them. Yeah.
Do fish have muffin tops?
I guess if we keep on taking the Ozempic, it will end up in the water supply.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Lovely, muscular, lithe fish swimming around.
Everything will look like that.
Everyone will look steroidy and they'll have fake teeth. Before the game, Slovan Bratislava manager Vladimir Weiss compared Pep Guardiola to Catalan architect Antoni Gaudi. And Pep said, I think he might have had a glass of wine. But thank you. How dare you? I finished my basilicas.
I didn't think it was actually that mad a comparison.
Right.
Just because essentially what Weiss said was that people thought Gaudi's ideas were really strange, but then when it all came together, I was like, oh yeah, that's actually really good.
Right.
Which, is arguably comparable to Guardiola. But
is it not just that his most famous work he didn't finish?
And he's in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I think
is it like sort of comparing like a British manager abroad to Big Ben?
Yeah, it is a bit like that, isn't it?
No, it's not quite like that. There is a bit more behind this.
But it's not entirely unlike it, is it?
Yeah.
It's a little bit like comparing to a British manager overseas to Al Murray pub landlord.
Right. Okay. No, it has to be like a kind of icon, like a big red bus.
What, Al Murray pub landlord?
Well, yeah, but like I was saying, an international flavour. No,
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean, good example. He's like Mr. Bean.
Gaudi is not like Mr. Bean.
He falls down the ground under a big light, and then there's some angel music comes on.
Although, is there a sense that like Gaudi wasn't necessarily like as politically active in like Catalan issues as
do you reckon?
Pep?
Right, yeah.
I was just really, I don't know anything about the subject.
Get 2 foot in,
so
Come on, let's get involved.
I've been to Barcelona and seen all the Gaudi architecture because it really stands out and gone, oh, that's good. That's about the extent of my engagement with it.
But I just found it really
Watching
weird.
your bag, weren't you? You little Englander. You little dirty little boy.
Marcus was watching the bags.
Marcus was watching the bags. He was. Do you
know why I can get a Guinness here? Why is everyone asleep during the day? What the fuck's this?
Sorry, Spain. Coming up in the second half, we've got Andy Carroll updates. Charlie Kane's been a busy man, hasn't he just? And Robbie Savage is getting slagged off by his own players.
To run and does. Can he play a colleague through? It's Jacob Murphy released. Murphy one-on-one. Jacob Murphy to win it. Just put it in the net.
Just put it in the net. I'll tell you what's a good energy drink. Carabao. Whoa,
yeah.
Lovely little cans full of gopping muck. Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0. Fabian Schär penalty was enough for Newcastle to beat AFC Wimbledon. The Andy Brassel derby in their League Cup third round tie. And it was weird. I watched that match. It's very hard to find illegally. Sky Plus, Sky Football Plus or something. It's a really weird channel.
Sounds legal though.
It does sound legal. It does. Yes, 1,500 Wimbledon fans travelled to Newcastle for the game. And after the week they've had, the team worked bloody hard.
Yeah.
And the Newcastle fans really went into it. Bless them.
It's a shame for Wimbledon, isn't it? I'm sure you disagree, but like they've got really close there. It's taking a penalty from a centre-back. Does he normally take the penalties?
Does he
normally take the penalties?
He's a very good dead ball man. He's a very good hitter of the ball, I think. You always trust Fabian Schär to do something. People forget that Fabian Schär is a man who was signed for £3 million, and that's being the talk recently because he's had some important interjections in the matches recently, and famously against PSG, that absolute howitzer from exactly last year.
And he's a good finisher in open play as well. Isn't he? He's done really well to sort of stay amongst them. I mean, he's a survivor of the Brucey era, isn't he?
He is. He was signed. He was signed. His first press conference pictures. He was wearing jorts, which is very enjoyable. Get a man who can do both, for crying out loud. But the atmosphere was a bit flat. But Newcastle have fallen foul of an early round exit in both this and the FA Cup. But they are going to be playing Chelsea in the next round.
It's annoying, isn't it?
It's a bit annoying. Yeah, it might very much end there the way that Chelsea are playing, and indeed Newcastle. William Osler, he's got the Amiobi about him. Have you seen this guy? He's like a big Danish giant.
Yeah.
Who got no service during this football match, but I'd like to see a lot more of him.
Well, he was at Sheffield United last season, maybe that's how he likes it. Maybe he's sort of
make him hungrier for the ball on a Saturday afternoon.
I just keep myself to myself up there. So.
Just very, very lonely.
Is there a centre back here to take the penalty? I don't want to do it.
But he's only 21 and he's got a lot of the raw materials. But watching him for Sheffield United in the scant clips that I saw, he's not like. He's not a great finisher, but good God, he's got the Joe Lintons about him. Makes me excited.
So you compared him to Amiobi,
yeah,
and I don't know which Amiobi, but Amiobi,
obviously, surely,
and Joe Linton, having said, "Oh, he's a striker, but he doesn't score any goals."
Exactly, yeah, just like Joe Linton.
He got your expectations, doesn't
exactly, yeah. Get him centre back, like they seem to be playing Joe Linton in centre back when we don't have the ball, which is very enjoyable.
Do you see the? I was going to call it the League Cup. You'd want me to call it the Carabao. Do you see the Carabao as a way of? I suppose not even
dropping $2,000 on a final ticket. Yes, I do. Yes,
yeah. But I suppose bear in mind what happened a couple of years ago. But do you see this as an opportunity for the team and the fans, less so the ownership, to be like, we are onto something good here. Let's remember that for this season.
Is it really that dour though? And
Not dour, but I think you know what we talked about with the PSR that like there was an expectation.
Yes, okay,
right. And it's not.
It's a manageable kind of a jobbers league cup, effectively. It's kind of like
like you're headlining Sunday Night Heat.
Yes, you are. Yeah, but you're not going to get on the main.
Yeah, you might fight.
You're not headlining WrestleMania.
No, you might battle for the Intercontinental title, but you're not going to win it.
Yeah, exactly that. It's been obviously a really difficult week for Wimbledon, and we hope the fund that was raised will help out. I did notice that the guy who sort of started that fund did say that we're Wimbledon will smash through this problem. It's like, don't say smashing through things. The issue was that there's a hole in your bloody ground, for crying out loud.
Let's hope the Wombles are safely relocated.
Exactly,
and none of them are harmed.
They should be put down, really, for them. Being such a menace.
What did the Wombles do?
If we were the countryside, we'd put them down, wouldn't we?
I mean, we kind of belittle, shout, scream, bite Marcus for mentioning 90s things. But I guess this is kind of like 80s things with the Wombles.
Yeah,
we should really explain to the maybe worldwide listeners who the Wombles were and what they did.
The Wombles are fictional pointy-nosed furry creatures created by Elizabeth Beresford and originally appeared in a series of children's novels from 1968.
1968?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say...
They live on Wimbledon Common, hence the association.
They live in
fucking Mall.
Yeah.
She saw Mall. She was scared of the Mall Alliance of Great Britain and decided, I'm gonna make a story about a mall.
I'm going to monetize this fear.
They were also like they were the first woke puppets, weren't they? Because they were properly into recycling.
Yeah,
very environmentally conscious.
Yeah,
Thunberg before Thunberg.
Before Thunberg.
And there was more of them.
There was loads of them. We previously discussed, I'm going to say prodigal son of Newcastle United, Andy Carroll. He might be back.
I think that's fair. I think he's the most prodigal of sons.
Yeah, I think so. He did come back, I suppose, in many ways. He scored 2 goals in his first game for Bordeaux, of course. Carroll has now revealed this week that he wants to play football until he is 40 in a project that he appears to be losing money on.
Yes.
He just loves Bordeaux so much.
Yeah, I think he just loves playing, doesn't he? And also, part of the reason for that...
is that he's not played enough.
Well, exactly. He said he missed big chunks of his career in his 20s and his 30s, and he'd look around at players in the various teams he was in. Just training and playing and loving life, and he wouldn't be part of it. I think when he had that ankle injury at West Ham, I think it wasn't dealt with very well by whoever was in charge of that. He had like the wrong screws in his ankle, so every time he played again, it would refracture, and then obviously it's like, it's your ankle.
Yeah,
it's not. Surely
you're going to a proper surgeon for that, and he's got to choose the right ones from Screwfix.
I mean, you can just get unlucky, can't you, with that stuff? Presumably, and I think
unlucky
Andy Carroll
with an ankle surgeon at West Ham, a Premier League outfit.
Well, it feels unlucky to me, mate.
It does feel unlucky.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, so I think he's now determined to play for as long as he can to kind of make up for those years, which is great and good on him, and I hope he manages it. So he's targeting back-to-back promotions. He's gone really big on this.
He's done back-to-back goals, so he's sort of going, well, I think that's only fair. He says he wants to be part of a massive club, and he wants to carve out his place in their history. It's an opportunity too great to pass up. I like that. I think he probably saw the promotion season at Newcastle and thought, you know what, that was a lot of fun. That looked like a lot of fun. Anyway, in other news, Macclesfield players have started calling head coach Robbie Savage one session Sav after he admitted missing midweek sessions due to television commitments. I don't even know where Robbie Savage is on the television.
He does a lot of radio stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's BT, maybe?
Right.
Sorry, TNT now?
He sort of squabbles with Sutton, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does that on 606.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
the article this is from gives a sort of deep dive into how much he actually does do at Macclesfield, which is loads by the sound of it. He's really, really getting stuck in there, sort of trying to earn his stripes.
Oh, you know what? Like you see the pictures of him in like a tiny little sort of clubhouse, sort of meeting room and stuff, and he's got his. I mean, he did bring some of his like. Did he have any medals? Would he have had any medals in his career? But he certainly, I think he's basically got a little display in his office that basically says, "I went from non-league to Premier League." A star effectively quite quickly, so to give the players a real G up. But I like the way that he's approached that, and he's a man he's a much maligned star, isn't he, in the football space.
He also probably doesn't need to do it, given the sort of punditry gigs he gets. So
he bought a lot of trainers in the 90s, apparently.
Yeah, there is that,
famously.
although that has been disputed, isn't it?
Yeah, that has been disputed by Sav at excruciating length on the radio, national radio. Tonight in the Champions League, Aston Villa's first home game in this season's Champos, and a repeat of the 1982 European Cup final, which Villa won 1-0. Aston Villa versus Bayern Munich.
This is massive.
This is the stuff.
Absolutely.
Villa Park rocking under those lights, 8 p.m. It's going to be a good one, Jim.
It is. I'm excited for Villa fans and for Villa. And this is a real kind of test of that new format, isn't it? The glamour tie with the big clubs coming to you. Yeah. It's exactly as you'd want it. You'd much rather play them at home rather than get absolutely canned at their place. And yeah, I mean, I wonder how Villa are going to approach this, because there is a sense that because there are 8 games, do you feel like there is a little sense that anything we get here is a bonus? Because I know the home games make it a little more must-win, as I've just said. But at the same time, it is Bayern.
Because it's a bit of a free hit because it's Bayern.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've got Man United the weekend, so that's your day off.
It's a great test of your level, isn't it?
Yeah. You're not learning anything beating Man United.
Yeah, leave it. We can play the Wombles on
the Man United game will be half the speed of this. It'll be fine. So you just try and keep up.
But you're right. I think at this point in Aston Villa's sort of development, and it is an ongoing project, the manager will sort of go, look, I know my European competitions, as discussed.
Absolutely.
But this is a real opportunity to have a, lay a glove.
They've got
blood of your nose.
Bear in mind, like after this game in the Champions League, they've got Bologna, they've got Club Brugge away, they've got Juventus at home again, big deal. RB Leipzig away, and at the turn of the year they end up, they finish with Celtic and Monaco.
It's a good draw. I mean, Leipzig away is tough, but
Yeah, but I suppose what that means is you can enjoy this game for absolutely what it is. As in, like, the fact that there's the throwback to the '82 final as well, and
give your fans a night to remember.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the whole point of this. Not necessarily this, certainly not this format, but this competition in terms of like a top tier European competition.
It's a loud stadium as well. Although I wonder if the ticket pricing situation will maybe have an effect.
Well, that's the interesting part of it. Yeah.
Well, I doubt once they're in the stadium it will, because it's going to be a night to remember.
So what's the situation, Jim?
Essentially,
let me guess, too expensive?
Yeah. That is the long, the short.
They've pumped up their prices because they're now in the Champions League.
Thank you for helping us get to this stage with your support.
Yeah.
So that will now cost you a bit more.
Your support is more expensive.
You also have to pay to get out.
Yeah.
So do enjoy it.
Imagine if they did that at Old Trafford. You got to pay to get out.
That's not a bad thing. It's like a that bridge between Wales and England.
There are people living in there.
Yeah. Do you pay to get in or pay to get out? I forget which one.
Pay to get out.
Pay to get out. There you go.
No, you pay to get
into Wales.
Yeah,
you pay
right.
to get. Yeah, but you don't pay to get out.
It's the joke everyone makes, isn't it?
Not us. We can't remember it. I'm loving this candid sort of Ollie Watkins versus Harry Kane sort of. There's a little bit of Neil here and there. Ollie Watkins basically said about Harry Kane, who is actually a doubt for the game after being subbed off early against Leverkusen at the weekend due to injury. He might have recovered in time for the match, but you never know with Harry Kane what state he's going to come back in, to be honest. But Ollie Watkins basically said, we talk on England away days. We are, casual acquaintances, but I want to make orphans of his children on the pitch. I want to be on that. I want to be on that England shirt, and I think I'm he didn't say I'm better than him, but I think he sort of goes,
well, he said, like, the actual quote was, well, I had to come on and do his job during the Euros.
Yeah.
But he couldn't. So just give it to me full
lame
time.
wad.
Yeah.
That lame wad sat in the...
It was nice of him limping around for 75 minutes.
Daddy's here. Yeah. Daddy's here now. That'll
and
be
his brother. That's how he finished it. And his brother.
And his stupid brother with a motorcycle in his office. The German media have turned on Harry Kane, like we inexplicably have now, for going missing in big games, accusing him from just hanging around.
Hold on. We can talk about our boy like that.
No, I did get a little bit... I couldn't give a shit about Harry Kane's career or goal record or whatever. But I do, when the German media is sort of saying that he's hanging around alone up front, he's a bit of a flat track.
I mean, we say the German media, we mean Bild.
Yeah.
Bild, who is the Sun, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. I mean, it's A, ridiculous, but B, is there something to this? I mean...
Well, it's been spoken about so often, and it's... not true.
He was injured for the last Champions League run,
but he's also
Spurs.
but he also plays so many games that even last year with a winter break, he was cooked at the Euros.
Yeah,
and it's the fault of management really that you'd play him in that situation.
Scored a lot of goals against Arsenal.
He has.
Well, that's
a big match.
Yeah, but at points where Arsenal weren't necessarily at the top table, shall we say? So
we're back on side. Kane's a dick, right? Kane's rubbish.
But it's been something that's followed him for a while, hasn't it? Like we were basically having this conversation before he'd gone to Bayern Munich. Every now and again, we had this conversation last year when he was at Bayern Munich, following the Real Madrid, knockout tie as well. Yeah. It's just something to do and something to write, isn't it? About Harry Kane, it's all. I think there's an element of like. You get bored about talking about all the goals and how impressive they are.
Do you get this in cricket? Like journalists.
There's so much dead time in cricket. Honestly,
but do you get this kind of like journalism sort of eating itself, running out of things to say, so just absolutely piling in on a particular player?
Well, cricket's a great example about this because cricket's so numbers orientated that you can just move the bracket wherever you want and be like, well, actually, there's this.
Yes, okay.
And obviously in football. They're doing it by saying, okay, well, certain goals are more valuable than other goals because of who they're scored against and what even though the same points and whatever. So yeah, I mean, this is just a similar version of that. The only difference is more people read this.
That's true. So. Can you get cricket players with their
what's going on here? Why are you suddenly into cricket?
I just want to learn about cricket. I want to learn about the part of your life I've not been allowed into. Vish. Can you get like a Kevin Peterson blow-up mattress like you can with Harry Kane? Harry Kane, you can apparently get a blow-up mattress at Lidl in Germany for £10.
Yeah, have you seen them? They actually look weirdly comfortable.
It's a Japanese love pillow. Grow up.
It is.
Everybody grow up. You're gonna fuck it. Guys, just that's what's going to happen with it.
You'd have to fill it with something. No, not like that.
Sand.
Not like that.
I'm as injured as Harry now.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Just leave that. But yeah, it's a blow-up mattress that you can buy in Lidl for £10 with basically a picture of Harry Kane. His brother has been busy with his licensing. Yeah, Skechers deal and a blow-up mattress. Thank you.
I had heard that he wasn't quite as involved, but this makes me think. Yeah, he's still knocking around.
Around.
No one else innovates like this.
Yeah, I came home from a European weekend sojourn with some Lidl. It was like a Lidl workout clothes. They're like sort of short shorts.
Like branded, like the Greg stuff.
Yes, right. Exactly like that, but with Lidl on and a windbreaker for my partner. And she has not touched it, Jim. She will not. She will not put it on. She thinks it's
eat your windbreak.
Eat your windbreak. I'm crying out loud. I was really upset.
Honey, is everything okay? You haven't touched your windbreak. Your little windbreaker.
Well, I tell you what, you can eat Harry Kane style. You can also buy some limited edition baked knobbly sticks with Harry's face on it. It does.
He has to be more.
He has to be more. He needs to get involved. You need to talk to your brother.
Yeah.
For crying out loud.
Talk to someone else about your brother.
Talk to your mum about your brother.
He's selling on some baked knobbly sticks. They're not even official knickknacks for crying out loud. They're baked knobbly sticks for crying out loud. What flavour is... I'm going to click on the link. Guys. I'm not even going to put safe search on. Yeah, it's made from super grain, bore off, striking hot flavour, limited edition, Insane Kane baked knobbly sticks.
Insane Kane. And he is screaming on the packet as well, which makes it look like you are eating his own...
Knobbly stick. Basically, his intestines, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, knobbly sticks are intestines.
Did you see the middle? So it's only 91 calories, and the other bit is it says it's good for your gut.
It's good for your gut, and they've tried to draw,
but not in big meals.
when you are at lunchable levels, this will satisfy your hunger.
Yeah. So Lidl also sell a paddling pool of the Allianz Arena. I think that's actually pretty great.
Brilliant.
That's good.
That is brilliant.
Stadium paddling pools make a lot of sense.
Are they a Munich-based company? Is this where they sort of came from? I don't
they
know.
are German, aren't they?
Are they
Maybe.
German? Right. Okay. I love the Lidl.
That is such a good. A football stadiums as pools is brilliant.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea. Yeah, the Lidl middle aisle is like
The
an
Lidl
insight
middle.
into your mind, isn't it?
Oh,
I
it's
would
brilliant. Tools and kids stuff. There's a big press release this week where Bayern Munich encouraged travelling away fans to visit the J.R. Tolkien Museum while in Birmingham.
Yeah.
I've got a few questions about that, Jim.
Can we hear them?
A, why are they getting involved? B, why are they
getting involved?
Why is
Travel
there
advice.
Well, the thing to do is paint a rival's bus. That's what you do.
Good point.
When you're abroad. Why is there a J.R.R. Tolkien museum in Birmingham?
Midlands Earth?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I heard that most of is Sauron a place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Is it? I don't know.
Aragorn, you going to check it out?
Aragorn, you're going to check out the museum. That's not Birmingham based. That's just any museum, isn't it?
Tolkien's from South Africa.
I know.
Jack
He died in
Elvish.
Bournemouth. It's confusing.
Yeah.
Jack Elvish.
I think his dad
anything
sold
for Jack Elvish.
Jack Elvish,
No, like
Jack
that.
Grealish. You didn't come prepared at all.
Nope.
This was in the runner.
The dwarf is called Gimli.
Mm-hmm.
Gimli.
Yeah.
Gimli Moore. I don't know. But yeah, but there's so many different things to do in Birmingham. Birmingham's actually quite nice. I mean, it's constantly under construction.
It's never finished, is it?
Yeah.
It's never finished. Really.
But there's lots to do. There's an NQ64 where the chocolate factory used to be.
Right.
Loads of canals.
Yeah, Pop World on Broad Street. Don't go in there.
Snobs.
It's
The old
there.
indie club with sticky carpets.
Yeah,
I assume
They've
the
moved that.
carpets
The
are
faces are
sticky.
still there. Subside. I think that's still open on a different place.
Go to Edgbaston, the home of Warwickshire County Cricket Club as well.
The only match I've ever seen in cricket was there.
Oh, there you go.
And I was so cold, I had to buy... I hate promotional clothing, but I had to buy a hoodie that was a Game of Thrones cricket mashup called Game of Throws. And it just said Game of Throws. And I was walking around for the rest of the night with a hoodie saying, Game of Throws. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
So
Put a museum up about that then.
Sarah's out of order for not wanting a little windbreak.
But I'm walking around in a cricket Game of Thrones hoodie. Please love me. Amadou Onana has started a second career in music, apparently. He released a single back in August on the alias 24 AM. Apparently in Belgium he's been called the devil with the voice of an angel. Haven't we all?
What aspect is the...
You do look a bit like the devil, actually.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
the devil from The
Yeah.
Simpsons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that Onana should be covering the Ting Tings. Missed opportunity. That's not my name, mate.
Yeah.
That's not my name, mate.
Yeah, very
That's not my
good.
name, mate.
Were they brother and sister, or were they hooking up?
Same with the bright stripes. You'll never know.
Oh,
You'll never,
okay.
unless you do know. Liverpool
The
versus
bright stripes.
the what?
You said the bright stripes.
I did not
there.
say. That's
You have
Mark
not
Bright's
DJ'd in
band. Have some
ages.
respect for Mark Bright and his band, thank you. Liverpool versus Bologna tonight at 8. Darwin Núñez is expected to start up front in the name of and in the place of Diogo Jota, who took a knock against Wolves at the weekend. Liverpool have got some football to be played in the next few weeks.
Horrible.
Absolutely disgusting. You got Chelsea, Leipzig, Arsenal, Brighton in the Carabao, Brighton in the Prem, a lot of Brighton in there, Leverkusen, Aston Villa, Southampton, Real Madrid, and Man City, all in the place of 6 weeks.
That's horrible
It's
run.
horrible. I mean, I think even ex-managers would have an issue with that fixture congestion because the fixtures are awful.
The only reason you're saying it's awful is because they've already played us.
Exactly.
They've already played
exactly.
Man City,
Yeah. You've
so-
had your voucher. You cashed it in. Enjoy.
Southampton are getting some stress relieved on them, aren't they, in that run? They're just going to be like 11 stress balls.
Yeah, this Karen be like, no, use the Harry Kane blow-up goal, please.
It's going to be like one of those chest expanders you used to get in the 80s that dads had, just squeezing their little heads until they pop. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's like a it's like a Champions League group with just like weird Super League teams in there as well. Right, I think that's it for us for another match, another football ramble. Another experience.
Is that how you regard these? Do you regard these as matches?
Yeah, and I should have been subbed off ages ago. Awful, bad at hosting. Cheers for watching another fantastic clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, which means you will not miss a single upload.